As many of you may know, our second Friday show here on Big Blend Radio is our Food, Wine, and Travel show, and it's a partnership with Big Blend Radio, Nancy and I, and the International Food, Wine, and Travel Writers Association, which we call IFTWA. It's an easier way to do it, so it's IFWTWA. Add a .org to it and go check out the website. What's cool about this show is we get to interview travel writers and bloggers and photographers and authors about their travels, their adventures, as well as the destinations they've been to, and also chat with what they say is their associate members, which is the destination. Sometimes it's a tour company. It could be a hotelier, I believe, too. We haven't done that yet with them, but maybe that's next. Who knows? But this is a really cool organization. It's international. Everyone connects together. And right now, with this whole COVID time, it's even more important for everyone to connect and move forward as best as they can. Everyone's got a different situation, whether you're a traveler, a travel writer, or a destination. Every place and every situation is different. The importance is to connect. Now, we're very excited because Linda-Kissam, you know her as a food, wine, and shopping diva, is back on the show today. Linda is Madam President. We love to call her Madam President. She's the president of the International Food, Wine, Travel Writers Association. And, again, go to ifwtwa.org so you can follow a little bit more about what we're chatting about. But, Linda, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much.
Hey, Nancy and I are excited about this. I know about every year or so you come on the show, we talk about what IFTWA is about. Before we talk about COVID and all of that situation, right, that's ever-changing, it's like spin the wheel every few minutes and see what happens. Can you give us a little bit of history about IFTWA, and because it's been going for quite a while now?
Yeah, IFTWA is a long-term, that's what I say, long-term association. I think it started in the 80s, and by a couple men that thought that they would. It actually started in France with a couple friends, came over to the U.S., and it was, if you read the first mission statement, it was more like it would be a group of writers that got together and sort of helped out the hospitality industry by writing stories and talking to the different hosts about what they could do to improve their destination and so forth. And then it just sort of evolved more into food, wine, and travel writing. So that's where we are now, and it is international. We have members from all over the place, and mostly domestic, but we're Canada, Mexico, and Europe. But the majority are based out of the U.S. The type of writer that you would see join this organization generally is somebody that has been in the career path for 2 years and can show us that they have been actively writing. We need to see 4 links to their articles per year, and it can be on food, wine, travel. You can be a radio host, all sorts of things. That's what we call our regular members. Then we have associate members, and those are people who represent destinations of all sorts all over the place. And so we have associate members, and we have regular members, and we have on occasion student members. Those would be those that are actively enrolled and can prove that they are enrolled in a hospitality travel writing sort of program at generally at a community college, and then we sort of help them, nurture them through. And generally it's first-year people, and you get a year to get yourself together, and at the end of the year, then you become a regular member.
Oh, cool. I like that. I remember actually, years ago, remember when Marilyn Hill was president years ago, and she really did good with the organization. She really, she did. Boosted it up there as you have, and Michelle Winter, and I remember, one of their things with they had a scholarship program, and we would interview the winners of the scholarship program. It was interesting. One lady had been to Pakistan, and all these, just to see the youth get involved in tourism. And what Nancy and I really love about what IFTWA does is represent tourism. Nancy, right? Nancy's always going, she wants the world to understand that tourism is a huge part of the economy. And right now,
for
right,
sure.
Nancy?
Yeah.
COVID, I think, is kind of teaching us that lesson.
Well, when you're in the tourism industry, it really covers so many things: attractions, hotels, restaurants, and everything in between. Taxis, any kind of tour company, buses, and the money from that trickles down to each community. So, plus, it is also a huge marketing arm. So when someone comes to your town, they not only do they get a hotel or stay with family and eat out, they also go and talk to somebody else about it. So they're marketing as well. So tourism is an industry that they may put dollar value on it, if the government does their breakdowns, but they don't get the full picture. They're only looking at hotels and maybe restaurants and maybe attractions, but they're not really able to add up the full amount of money that tourism brings to a destination.
That's right. That's really true.
Too far.
Diva Linda, I just can't not call you Diva Linda. I know I should be calling you Madam President, but I'm so used to Diva Linda. And I got to change because this is what it is about, right? COVID is always changing. But I wanted to ask about the associate members. As we travel the country right now, we're seeing we're in bed and breakfast and working with some of the smaller communities, and every day is something different. 1 minute it's all good, 1 minute it's closed. Restaurants are up, down, in and out, take it in, take it out, whatever, eat in, take it out, whatever it is. But do you have members that are not CVBs or visitor bureaus or destinations as a whole? Do you have members? I know you have tour operators because we've interviewed, I know one lady up in Juneau, Alaska, who's a tour operator and takes people on foodie tours. But what about hotels and inns and restaurants and chefs and people like that? Can they belong to the organization? Wineries?
Yes, they could. Yes, they could, and as associate members, and we would welcome them, and that would bring a nice diversity to what we already have, and I think the connections would be good for everybody. That's part of one of the major benefits of belonging to an organization like IFTWA is your connections that you make, the networking that you do. The benefits that are provided by the association. So an example, let's talk in the day of COVID. In the days of COVID, many of our members won't travel, but they need to keep up their skills. They need to keep up their education about what's happening at various places. So it's become a very interesting thing. Now we have 1 to 2 webinars every month where we bring in guests from destinations or from wineries or associations. So an example, coming up tomorrow, there's going to be a webinar for members only. It's called Get Into the Rhythm of Memphis. So we're going to talk about Memphis as a destination. We can't go there yet, but it's good to have the background. And we've told people this, you can write something about what you've learned on the webinar. I took a webinar the other day from Melissa's Produce on the five newest fruits to think about, and so I learned all about papayas, jackfruit, and 3 others. And you know what? I'm in another time and day, I would be so busy traveling around, I wouldn't have time to sit for webinars. I would want to be out and about and doing things, but instead we're now bringing this all to you, to our members, via webinar. The Michigan Wine Collaborative is going to speak to us. Costa Mesa, Park City's coming on.
Cool.
We do professional. We also do professional development courses. One coming up is called Improving Your Online Presence. We learned how to edit videos the other day, and I would never have time to do any of this stuff. I would be on a plane someplace, somewhere, and instead we're bringing it to you online. This is a really good chance for you to learn about things. A lot of people focus on just food or just wine, and they just haven't been able to find the time to learn about other things. They say, I really wish I could know more about wine. Now is a good time if you're a foodie and you want to expand into the wine, to see some of these seminars, see if this is actually something you want to do. They're free to our members, and they're about an hour long each month. And
wow.
Think about, you can learn about Texas wines, Hungarian wines. You name it. We've been able to schedule them, and and as I said, these professional development courses as well. This is such a good time to not give up. Don't give up. Just because you can't go, there are 1,000 things that you could be doing instead. And we encourage our members to think outside the box. So if you're somebody who just cannot see themselves getting on a plane, just can't do it, and but want to keep your writing skills up, my suggestion would be to join an association like ours and watch these webinars, keep your writing skills up. Also, think about reviewing a cookbook. The people who write cookbooks, the publishing companies are so generous. They'll send you, I asked the other day for a couple and I got 12. 12 cookbooks to review. You can ask the wine people, can I taste a couple of your wines? They're more than happy to send you 2, 3, 6, 7 bottles of wine to try out. Every year, of course, as you know, I go on a boat trip in the Pacific Northwest. I'm gone for about 6 months. 4 of those are generally on the water. And Mount Beautiful Wines always sends me 12 wines to review. So over the months, I just reviewed 12 of those wines. Hey, we love Mount Beautiful. Yeah, that's right. You've had that. So those are things that you can do. We have one gal who's doing a wonderful job. What she's done is she's taken, and she lives in San Diego. Her name is Melissa Hinshaw. And she, every time she goes someplace like a bakery or she goes to, takes a walk where there's something historical, something that you would normally do but not think about writing, because you're thinking about your trip to Memphis, or you're thinking about your cruise to, down the Seine. But now is a good time to write local. Write about that. You don't have to, you're in your own car. You can be as active as you want, as engaged as you want. If you don't want to talk to the PR people, don't do it. Just go and see. I sent one of my new writers on a trip out to a submarine museum in the middle of the Arizona desert. Now, would we have thought about that before? No, but she lives in Laughlin, and I told her, find something unique. Find something that you can drive to and that has a large outdoor component, that you won't have to be exposed possibly to COVID. Do what you think outside of what you normally do. Think local. Think, could I review a cookbook? Could I review some wine? Take some wine classes through us. These are all things that this association has been trying to think through. How can we help people when they probably aren't going to be getting on a plane for a while? And we have associations that are coming to us and saying, destinations that are coming to us and saying, we want to bring you guys here. We still have a budget, but we really don't know how to do it. Would you guys be open to taking temperature every day? Could you bring us a certificate that says you're COVID-free? And all that sort of thing. And then we have to write back and say, our members said, that'd be fine. We would, if we could. But an example, I live in Arizona. I can't get a certificate from Arizona saying I'm COVID-free. They only want to see you if you're sick. So does that get eliminated from everything? And then what happens to the person who's COVID-free when they had their test done, but they don't see you for a week or so? And they arrive with a temperature. What are you going to do with our members? You're going to stick them in a hotel room, or Their flights don't go back for a week, and you can't put them on an airplane. You wouldn't want to do that. Everybody else would get COVID. So these are things we're thinking about. These are things we're working on, and I think it's more important than ever. I think you and the three of us were talking before the show started. It's more important than ever to stay writing, to think about how you want to do that, and to join an association that can help further your success. And I think for many of us, IFTWA is the one that can do that.
Yeah, I think this is really exciting because this is the silver lining of all. Okay, number one, COVID sucks, period. Okay, we all know that. It's hurting us all financially. It sucks, and people have passed away, so people are sick, so it's a reality. It is not a fun deal. But there's always a silver lining when, there's something bad has to happen sometimes, and that's life. With right now, as when you think about creativity on the travel writer side, it's creativity time. And I think it's a time to delve into something completely different, test waters, maybe do more photography than you've done before. Maybe you start writing some more poetry, create your own quotes. We don't have to keep using Walt Whitman over and over. I love Walt Whitman, but we can't use him, the leaves of grass, every time we write something. I'm just saying, we've got to start creating our own. And it's true. I mean, this is a thing, too, for on the destination side. A lot of times when Nancy and I travel, we travel a little differently, that, with our Love Your Parks tour. And, we'll start showing people flowers that they don't even know are in their backyard, or a bug, or, hey, did you know this? And a lot of times a chamber or a visitor will go, I didn't even think about this being something that much of a draw. So I think for both sides, for the destination and for the writer, photographer, we're looking at things a little bit differently, and I think that is always a welcoming change. Things like public art are getting, more notice. So the artist is getting more attention. The town's history is being shown through art. It's social distancing, but the town's history is being shown through that. Virtual events, look at musicians are streaming concerts all the time. Look at Misha, right? Your son-in-law doing these online concerts, and musicians have had to do the same thing as have the venues, and people are getting really creative, and I applaud those who are getting creative with it instead of quitting. Try something new. It is good for us as individuals, as human beings, to do something new. It's a breath of fresh air, and if you fail, pick up your feet and do something new again. And you will be surprised. You will find something, a new skill that you didn't have before. So I look at this time as, other than all the suckiness, as a positive. Honestly, it's weird, but I do.
It's a really good time to do research on a place he's already been. So let's just say, for example, you're a foodie, and that's kind of how you zero in on what you're going to write about. But you've gone all the way to Austria or somewhere like that, where statues and history, and maybe you took a picture of a couple of statues or a bridge or something, even though you're writing more about the food.
Be careful on the statues, Nancy.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Well, okay. Well, before they're gone, is that what you want me to say?
Yeah. I know.
Really. No, and that's a good point, too. You've probably taken pictures of something that you haven't really researched and written a lot about. So if you go back to a place you have been, and you go through your photos, you probably find you have something that could turn into an article from a historical aspect instead of a food aspect. So,
and that includes the statues. It does, because there's statues that are being removed or moved by the cities, or, drama happening for all kinds of reasons, and find out what that reason is. That's the whole point of some of the protests, and whether you like them or not, there's something behind it, right? There's always something, and as a travel writer, you're still a journalist. Diva Linda, we were in Santa Fe. They moved the Vargas statue. So, like, some of the stuff we took photos of are being moved right now by the city of Santa Fe in New Mexico. So I'm like reading the plaque going, well, they said this, now what's happening there? Now I'm going to go find it out. So it's kind of an interesting, different place to be. So it's not all COVID right now either. So I think you're right, Nancy. You're really right
look at it
that.
From a different angle of, because there's I guarantee you when you go out and then also honing your skills as a photographer, if you're a travel or food writer, you can't do it without photos. I mean, that's
I agree.
So
and videos.
Photos
and videos. Now's
exactly.
a good time to learn how to do a video.
Exactly.
And for all our members and other people who are listening that say, but I don't do social media, I don't understand it. It's a very, very important part of any destination, allowing you to come and part of being their guest. So now would be a good time to learn why Instagram is important and how to actually work Twitter and is
exactly.
Facebook the right is Facebook the right place for you or no? Is Twitter the right place or no? Instagram certainly would be. And take the time now that you have. Take some of all those photos you've taken for years and years and start putting them on Instagram. See what people like. See what people don't like. Did your rose get 15 likes and your photo of an enchilada get 20,000? I mean, now's a good time to start looking at what makes a good post. I know people, I just get frustrated with people who say, but I can't do that. I don't know what all that's about. Well, now you can take the time to find out. You can take a class. I mean, I cannot tell you the number of free online classes now that all the wineries want you to do virtual tastings with them. All the, like Memphis, Park City, Orange County, they all have webinars they'd like you to see. There's all these, so you can do all your research now, get ready, and then when you feel it's the time for you to get out and about, then you'll be ready. Or if you just, if you're one that just doesn't want to do anything till the vaccine comes along, maybe cookbook reviews and maybe music reviews, all sorts of different types of things that will keep you interested and engaged. Now is a good time to see what else is in your head. What else can be in your career path that you didn't have time before because you were traveling too much. You're just hopping from, host to host, destination to destination. I was supposed to go to Russia in a few weeks. Well, guess what? No one's taking me to Russia now. So, but I've got, just like Nancy said, I've been to, hundreds of places, and I didn't use all of my, all of the things that I learned in an article. You can only, if your editor only allows you 700 words or 1,000 words, 1,000 words is about it. You certainly on a 5-day stay are not going to be able to share everything you saw. Maybe now would be a good time to repurpose that article and plug in some of the things that you didn't get to tell. And you know what? These are all things that we remind you of as an association. These are all things, sometimes we just need a little cheerleader or a little organizer to help us remember where we should be going on our journey. And I think that's part of what IFDWA does. We're your little cheerleader, your little organizer. We have a place for you to meet other people. These Zoom meetings are very interesting. Whoever thought I'd be doing a Zoom meeting? But, my God, I must do 10 a week. I mean, they're just, they're great. These are things that you can learn.
It's interesting, Linda, when we think about, the Zoom meetings, I know we've done a few with you too, and it's interesting, and you have this connectivity with people, right? You're seeing each other.
Yes.
Even if you can only do the phone, and if you are only doing the phone because you don't want your face on the TV screen or the computer screen, stop it. Put your face there, connect like you would in normal times. Just saying. Get dressed. You can wear
get out of your pajamas. Put on your makeup.
Yeah. You just have to have one shirt that's decent, right, and all that. But but I wanted to touch on this because there's something interesting that we're finding as we're traveling. We go to park communities, and sometimes there are communities that is maybe really tiny and going, hey, we have something in our backyard. We haven't looked at tourism, and we're starting to. We stumble on those places all the time. You've been to some of them with us. Would IFDWA be a place, especially right now with all these Zoom meetings, where I know they're geared towards travel writers a lot of times, But can these Zoom meetings help a destination when you're teaching social media, how to edit videos and things like that? Wouldn't that also help a destination that's up and coming that hasn't done it yet? They're at the very beginning?
Yeah. I would say that when we started our webinars, we did them early on when we figured out there would be no more traveling, and what were we going to do to give benefits to our members. We started, little by little getting our associates to come on, and doggone if most of those people didn't learn from that experience and start their own. So, we have things to teach them. They have things to teach us. And it's just like you said, it's the connectivity that really keeps you going and keeps you on your path. Staying at home, if you're one of those people that don't want to go out of the house a lot, we have members, interestingly enough, who 1/3 of our members just don't want to go out of the house too much, or they're in cities or states where it's not recommended. We have 1/3 that are in states that are not restricted, or they feel that they can handle traveling and they're doing it on their own terms, usually in their car, and going, on and on. I myself am on a boat in the Pacific Northwest, and already this year, this summer season, have been to 10 places, 10 harbors, 10 destinations.
Awesome.
And we're just sort of sealed up in our own little capsule here, that's part of why I went to Earth Sanctuary on Whidbey Island.
Right.
You can go, it can be outside. They limit the number of people that can go into the sanctuary, which is actually a giant park, 75-acre park. These are things that if you research, you can still get out and write about. But, sometimes you just need a little extra push or a little extra knowledge to know how to do these things. And I think, as we've said before, joining an association, this is not generally for the brand new person who wants to be a travel writer. We're looking for people who are already travel writers, food, wine, and travel writers. There's a yearly dues around the $200 mark, and we have a deal going on now that if you buy a membership now for 12 months, we'll give you an additional 2 months. If your spouse is also a travel writer with you, you're both food, wine, or travel writers or photographers, the first spouse pays full and the second one pays less. How much less? I can't remember. I can't remember the board meeting. I'm sorry, but it is less. And so these little deals will not last for long. These are just little incentives to get people. We know that some of our writers, actually quite a few of our writers have second jobs or second careers or whatever, and some of those careers are not going so well. It's been everybody's been affected. I was traveling in Washington. I was traveling in an industrial area, and I noticed, of all things, the trophy company that I had used many years ago when I lived in Washington State said it's closed for COVID. If you think about it, if there's no football games, if there's if there's no banquets, if there's no congratulating people with plaques and stuff, that business just, closed. That was that. I thought to myself, just like you were saying, how much of this stuff do we not know has been impacted? Think of the people think of weddings. Weddings were a huge business. Now what does that include? Catering, the people who buy the wine, there's the wine sales down, musicians. The horse and carriage people, unless you want to ride in on an elephant even, whatever your deal is, think of all those people who are really have been impacted by this as well. So, we go on and on about the impact, but, today's thing that we're doing today is talking about how to stay active as a travel writer and what can IFTWA do for you. So we have lots of programs. We have a lot of things that once you're in the association, benefits that you can take care of besides the webinars. We have the ability to write for our own very upscale magazine that gets lots and lots of hits. So that's a place to place your articles.
Yes, Good Wine Travel. FWT magazine is awesome. You guys do such a cool job on that. And then it's also a blog on the website too. So it's
right.
And the other thing is the IFWTA hashtag IFWTWA. Excuse me, IFTWA, right? The hashtag on Twitter. I love what you guys do on Twitter. I always talk about this on shows because you just follow that hashtag. You will go around the world. And it's the same on Instagram, but with the number 1 at the end, IFWTWA1. And it is just, you can go around the world through that hashtag. And it's super cool. For those who are armchair traveling right now, here's the deal. People are planning to get out. People are getting out. We're on the road full time, Nancy and I. We are seeing people get out and about. Yes. And, there's podcasting you can do. There's video. There's Zoom things you can do through social media, Instagram Live, all these things you can do as a writer. But getting connected with the destinations, like Linda's saying, and getting those skills on, getting that information. How, it's like, oh, my God, I'm going to go live on Instagram. Help. Oh, my God, this is crazy. Yeah, go get help. Get help. But here's the thing. It's like, how many times do you go to, I know from booking radio guests, it's like, hello, can you update your website? Your bio is like 10 years old. And it's not, I'm not talking travel, I'm talking about everybody that we, not everybody, you know what I mean? It's for all of us now. Look at what we're putting out there. Is it up to date? Because it's so easy to forget, like this one thing that we said we were always going to keep up to date, and you get busy and you don't. So I think being part of an organization helps you stay on track of what you're supposed to do and reminds you. And it also reminds you you're not alone in these changes. And that's important because I know we've talked with people that get depressed over COVID. There is a sadness. There's you just want to climb into bed and never wake up until it's, COVID is over. And that's not the way to go. So I think that connectivity you were talking about, Linda, is huge, huge, huge. And to know you're not the only one facing this issue. So you can problem solve. And all the travel writers we've met through IFTWA and interviewed on IFTWA, the networking is one of the top things everyone says about the organization is that they're able to connect with everyone around the world and, problem solve and discuss ideas and, hey, what do you do when you only can take this much on a plane and as a travel writer I have to take this? And, there's all kinds of things. But right now it's really important to be in touch and then be in touch with your own industry. It's cool. It's cool what you guys are doing. So it's cool that there's benefits, right? And there's benefits, but there's discounts right now. So IFWTWA.org. Did I get that right, Linda?
Yes, you did.
Madam Hudson's on the show. I better get it right.
Well, I think one of our first websites, you had to type in the entire name. International.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And then is it an ampersand or is it the word and so finally we just said, no, screw this. Actually, it was our Australia people who said, why don't you just call yourself IFTWA? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be Australian. Yeah. Just get on with it.
Just get on with it. And so we have, that was a great contribution, actually. But those are the sorts of things that, again, connecting and talking and being with other people and, and grab 5 people that you can see on these Zoom meetings. And if they look sort of like people you might like to talk to, you can get their email address and you can maybe start your own little Zoom networking thing. I do that with about 10 gals and from the association, and we just talk weekly about what it is we are doing, what we aren't doing, what we could be doing better, and that sort of thing. And that's I think that's quite wonderful. And now I will put in a big plug for this. Now is a really good time to think about volunteering. Now you can't. You may not be one who wants to go out and be on the soup line. Maybe that's not your deal. That's too much contact. But you certainly, if you have a skill, especially with IFTWA, you could. We have all sorts of committees, all sorts of things that we can help, that we need help on, and that you just do from your home, and you don't have to worry about coming in contact with other people at this time. So, now might be a good time to, I'd love to be a volunteer, but I don't have time. Well, now you do have time. I'd love to be a volunteer, but, I don't want to be in the soup line with all the people. Well, pick a volunteer activity that you can do from your home. So, these are things that we'll keep reminding you about. These are things that we want, you to be part of. And so there you are. That's cool.
Oh, I think that's a really huge point, Linda, because, there's volunteering in all capacities, right? And even if maybe, hey, I'm going to do this social media post on this. Well, now you're going to learn how to be consistent with social media. So there's the education part. But, in business, when you start a business, they always say, join your chamber, right? So IFTWA would be the circumstance. And volunteer. If you want to make real connections, volunteering is the way to do it.
And you learn. You learn a lot.
You learn a lot. You learn about everybody, especially depending on the type of if you're going to help with FWT magazine, you're going to be connecting with those sort of writers. I have people who volunteer every month to go through photos submitted by members, and then one of those photos is put up on our website as a feature photo. Now, those people didn't know a lot of people before. Our volunteers didn't know. The husband and wife team didn't know a lot about IFTWA, actually, and they didn't know a whole lot about members. Now I think they know every single person because they have to interact with them in order to judge the photos, talk about the photos. You have a better photo than that. We need it smaller. We need it larger, that sort of thing. Those, but now they're having a wonderful time. They're like, the most popular couple in the organization. I mean, there's all sorts of things one can do.
See, I love this. Proactivity. Let's get it on, people.
Yeah.
COVID sucks, but we don't have to.
Yeah. No, just get organized,
In a word, I know. Oh, we've got the president on the show. Madam President, and I said that 3 times now or something.
No, it's a good time to take stock of your strengths, your weaknesses. Or, my software for photo editing comes with an organizer. And one of the projects I've always wanted to do is take all the photos, label them, and put them into the database. So if I need a white dog with a black spot over his eye, I can type that in, and here comes all the photos.
Now, good luck with that.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
I know. Well, just even on this tour, and then you think about the magazines, and then you think about all 80,000 or whatever thousands, tens of thousands of slides that you have in storage that you haven't digitized. Like if you haven't digitized your slides, do it. Because that's another thing.
It's
because
a huge
things from the past are important for now. As we look, what was it like then? What is it like now? People are looking at stories of climate change. What was a city like then? If you were in a city 20, 30 years ago and you took photos on regular film, that's important now. It's part of history. So if you took your slides and digitized them, it's like it helps museums. It helps communities look back on what they have or had. It helps in history research, family history research, things like that. So there's like Nancy, you're right about that. Now we can't because we're traveling. So too bad. But we need a volunteer.
Even more than scanning in all your past photos, I'm thinking along the lines of, let's say, for example, I know there's a mermaid statue in Copenhagen.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
You've been there.
So I'm sure that there's more than one mermaid statue. Maybe you took a mermaid statue photo somewhere else. So you type in mermaids and see what kind of photos you come up with, and there's an article. Maybe you're bouncing around the world by statue. And I'm only using statues. It could have been an animal species. It could be a particular kind of maybe botanical gardens. Like instead of I went here and here's the botanical garden and here's the food and here's that, maybe you go and write an article about botanical gardens around the world. That's a travel article.
Well,
That's a travel article.
There's Diva Linda, your son-in-law, Misha Shellhouse, awesome guitarist. I remember years ago, and he did this, and a lot of musicians did this, where they would write a song a day or a song a week or something.
Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh, remember that? Oh, Lord.
Yeah, think about it. You put yourself on challenges because it keeps you going. And if you go in a group like you're talking about, go meet folks through IFTWA on these Zoom meetings and then create a challenge together. Hey, let's all do botanical gardens and just do 1 week. Nothing that's going to kill you, just something easy. Like, hey, let's do this, let's do that. We're the challenge and create that kind of thing together. You're keeping people intrigued. People are consuming media right now because, hey, we've got downtime.
What else do they have to do? Yeah.
This is the time to give. I mean, people are listening, watching, reading more than they ever have. And this is your time to put your best foot forward, to test the waters as well, to learn, hey, they like this. You're going to have more accurate stats of what people like now than when they're busy and could barely take time because they're going to actually engage more. So just saying, now is the time. It's a beautiful time, but it's a sad time, of course, with COVID. But use it wisely. And IFTWA, I mean, connecting like we were saying and having the education and the webinars and all that, man, it's cool. This is a good time to get yourself out there and also keep promoting the destinations. The destinations need help. They really do. The places need help. The small businesses need help. And if you work together with them, it's a good time to go through that photo. Oh, you remember that lady at the coffee shop or that winery? Contact them. Get in touch with them and say, hey, can we do an interview? We can do an interview on the blog or for FWT magazine, whatever the theme is going on then. You know what I mean? So just saying. And we covered it all now, Diva Linda.
I know. Wow, we sound really great. Wow, I'm impressed.
We could do a Tony Robbins concert. I was going to say Tony Robbins concert. Come on, everybody, let's go. But everybody, again, the website is ifwtwa.org. IFTWA, check it out. If you're a destination, a writer, blogger, hotel, just go for it, and everyone connect, move forward. That's the best thing to do, as much as you can, in whatever capacity you can. So thank you so much, Madam President, for joining us.
You are so welcome. I love being on the show.
Cool. Oh, we always have a good time with you, and thank you for stepping out of your floating zone to join us. Because I know, are you about to hit the water again?
Well, as we speak, I am in a bay in Anacortes, and the boat, if you know anything about boating, the boat's, I'm at anchor, and it's been twirling. It twirls left, like in a figure eight, then it twirls right. So I've been twirling for the last hour. Tomorrow we go to Fairhaven in Bellingham, and so that'll be a new stop for us. Yeah, it'll be wonderful.
Cool. Well, safe travels. Hi to Alan for us, and enjoy your boating adventures. We'll talk soon.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Cool.
Bye-bye.
Bye.